YouTube, LinkedIn, X. Super excited to be here with you guys today on a live video with a very important message for everyone who is part of the 1 million in 1 year project, but also as a general message for anyone who wants to create wealth, anyone who wants to grow your financial abundance, or anybody who's really looking to build a freedom lifestyle, scale your business, or anything of the sort. And first and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for everyone for being here, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay. And I'm really, really excited to share this message with you. And I'm actually really inspired by our amazing boot campers for making this message. And maybe some of you who are watching this right now are part of the boot camp. If you are, then comment below and say boot camp, hoo ha hoo. Super excited to have you guys here. And the reason why I'm inspired by our amazing boot campers is because we're actually running the 1 million in 1 year project. And in the bootcamp, everything is about how do you grow your business, how do you scale it, how are you able to utilize everything that you have within, whether it's your message, whether it is your passion, your knowledge, anything of the sort, to benefit other people and actually be able to make an impact. And by impacting others, by making a difference to others, in doing so, generating your abundance. So much so that we actually have a mission, a journey, a plan where we're going to aim for 6 figures in 3 months, 1 million in a year, and then everything beyond that after that. And one important lesson that I want to share with everybody watching this, whether you're part of the bootcamp or whether you're not part of the bootcamp, is actually this one. And this is something that I've learned from one of my mentors, and it's a very important one. But before I share it, I just want to ask you guys, how many of you watching this either live or on the replay are really eager about creating financial wealth for yourself? Comment below and say me or yes and financial wealth or whatever other word that you would like to say. And you're actually very, very, very excited about not just making wealth happen, but generational wealth. And you want to make enough money so that you can look after yourself, your loved ones, and charities, the world, but actually for allowing it for generations to come. Hey, we got Mona in the house. Hello, hoo ha hoo. We got Jen in the house. Wendelis, hello. Shino, and everybody else on Facebook and Twitter and all these other platforms. I can actually see your comments. Here we are. There we are, the comments. Krishna, hello. Super nice. So that's a very important thing. Now, here's the lesson that I want to share with you that I learned from my mentor. And it's this thing. If you are worried about, and this is a very specific example, what he said, if you're worried about 1,000, you're not going to make a million. So it was a very specific example. If you are worried about 1,000, you're not going to make a million. And why is this such an important point? Because the setting in which my mentor was sharing this with me was actually a setting where he was sharing an opportunity. He was doing something and he was doing something to help people to up level their businesses, to really grow and start seeing more sales come in. And the opportunity that he was presenting was an opportunity for $1,000, where he could have his mentorship, people could learn, people can grow, and people can take their lives to the next level. And there were a couple of people there that were really wanting to better their businesses, grow their empires, and really see different results coming in that are better. But some of them were saying like, well, I'm really worried about the 1,000. I'm really worried about making that investment into myself and joining that program that he was running. And then he said this: if you're worried about 1,000, you're not going to make a million. And that sounds a bit harsh, maybe at first, right? If you listen to it, oh, wow, if you're worried about 1,000, which is a substantial sum, especially in this world today where there's so many people struggling to get by. And you might feel like, oh my goodness, that's a harsh thing to say, but actually it isn't. It's actually an eye opener. And that's why I want to share it with you guys today, inspired by our boot campers, that it may open your eyes too. What he was saying is that if you are worried about the 1,000, you are too busy and worried around the playing with the little money that there is no room energetically or mentally or action wise for the big money. So you say, if you're worrying about the baby money, then there's no room for you to actually acquire the grown up money. And that's an interesting point. And why does that make sense? It's because actually if we want to grow ourselves, our businesses, our empires, then we have to think big. This is one thing that we always share. Think big. Think beyond what you think right now is possible. That might sound really weird, but this is also something that Muhammad Ali says. He says, if your dreams don't scare you, then you have the wrong dreams. If your goals are not huge and they don't scare you, you got the wrong dream. And so that is something important first and foremost. But then the second thing is that it doesn't matter if you know exactly how it's going to pan out. Just know that in your heart you have that drive, you have that gift, you have that inspiration all of a sudden from whatever it is that came on your path, and that is enough to move forwards. Now, obviously, you got to know what you got to do, which steps to take, where to focus and channel your energy towards. And that is why it's so important to find yourself a mentor. Find yourself, no matter what it is that you want to do. If you want to become a singer, then find yourself someone who's got results in singing. If you want to go in real estate, find yourself someone who's got experience and results in real estate. But don't go and try to do it all by yourself, because then you're going to keep trying. And if we had an internal life, yes, then we are able, like an internal physical life, then we would be able to just trial and error, and then we'll get there sometime, right? But I believe that we have so much precious time right here, and we can benefit ourselves, our families, and the world so much sooner if we were to set aside our ego and just go and invest in ourselves, find ourselves a mentor that can hold us by the hand, and then move forward. And so what he was saying in that message, that if you worry about the 1,000 and that is your playing field, you're never going to get to that realm where you can actually action the many thousands. And one of the things that is a rule of the universe, or a rule of just practicality, is that if you want to go and acquire a lot, you also got to give, and give with conviction, act with conviction, take action with conviction. So what it basically means is that if you are worrying about the 1,000 and you're staying stuck around that, you're worrying so much so that you don't realize that it lies within you to go and find it. I'm not saying that you should say like, hey, magically appear a 1,000. That's not going to happen. If you have it in your pocket or you don't have it in your pocket, that is the reality as it is, but it doesn't mean that you cannot find it. If you don't have it in your pocket, you can go out there and find it. You can make it happen. And he says that if you are too worried about that 1,000, you're staying stuck in that realm. Therefore, you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. So you cannot even go and even play the game at a bigger level where thousands are coming in. And why is that 100% so? Is that because if you were to turn it around, if I didn't worry about the 1,000, I was just like, hey, I'm going to find it. And even if it's my last 1,000, I'm just putting it in. I'm putting it in, which actually I did in my business many times. I invested in myself because I needed the knowledge, I needed the guidance. And I took my last money, I put it in. And I wasn't able to pay for my rent. For those of you who know, you know. I wasn't able to pay for my food, and my family helped. I had to take out a loan. I had to have other financial means to be able to make it work. But I knew that I was going to make it work. I knew that I was going to make the millions as I wanted to, not just for making the money, but for helping the people and for what that money represented in lives changed. And so if you didn't worry about it, and you would say, hey, I'm going to do it, I'm going to take that action with conviction, an act of conviction, and you are to step outside, then it was to reflect back onto you. It's going to come back to you. Interesting, right? If we stop worrying about the little money and we step outside and we just put it out there, we step outside, all of a sudden then there's room, energetic room, because no longer we have the worry that's clouding our judgment, but we step outside of it and we can see clearer. Our energy is able to reach further. One of the things that we spoke about in the bootcamp is that our energy meets opportunities before we do. Our energy is out there going to meet people, events, exceptional things that we cannot even foresee, but it draws us to the right places for us, to the right opportunities for us before we do physically. And so if we were to step beyond that comfort zone and actually stop worrying about that, the fog clears and we now actually have room to make more than the 1K. And this is one thing that we experience with our students as well, time and time again, that when they invest in themselves and they take that step, and it was a scary step, they invested in themselves like, oh man, it's my 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 or whatever program they go on. But then they start seeing that wait a second, if I was worried about the little money here, actually I rather go and utilize that energy that otherwise I would put into worry into activity and creativity to make a lot more than 1000. That's a much better way of utilizing your energy. So much more productive, so much more uplifting. And so that one message is really powerful. If you worry about 1000, you're not going to make a million. But if you allow yourself to just and then just go forward, say yes and figure it out later. Take that step, find ways to make it happen. Find the money, find the time, find the strength that perhaps you have to borrow. You have to borrow someone else's belief sometimes at the beginning. But if you just take that because you feel it in your heart and you trust, then the magic can unfold. And then all the abundance can flow in. So I hope that that was helpful. I want to say thank you guys so much for commenting. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Ying. Thank you to Mona, Jen, Tulika, Numero Amrita, Kika, who else is here? Razan, Charmaine, our well, I think, oh, there's so many names. There's so many people that are watching. Thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it. But the most important thing that I do want to say is that as much as I hope that this message was inspiring for you, I don't want it to just be inspiring. I want you guys to do something with it. If this message has empowered you, then take it on board. Take it on board and move forward. If there's something that you guys thought was useful from this, then please feel free to give this video a like or a love or comment below what is your biggest learning from this. Or if you have a question, comment down the question. I would always love to answer your questions as well. And also, if you think that this message may benefit someone else, feel free to share it. Feel free to hit the share button on whichever platform you're watching this, either now or after the video is completed. And number 3, the biggest important thing is allow it to benefit you in your life. Take that action, follow your heart, follow your dreams, and you will see that nothing is impossible. You got this. So on that note, I'm gonna go. Love you all lots and see you guys on another episode of My Daily Show.